Hello, we should be live right now. I believe we're going to start in 2 minutes, but we're just going to have it live here. I just saw in the chat Elite Tarkov Ops, but Cass already hit 15 cent. Yeah, I believe that it did on some exchanges, but we're just going to go for the overall average figure, and the all-time high, I believe, is 0.1473. So that's the all-time high recorded on CoinMarketCap. I don't believe that there's anything higher than that. But for the most part, it kind of did hit 15 cent. It was around here on a lot of exchanges. It did hit up into 15 cent. Let's have a look on MEXC, see what the candle said for that. I believe that Kaspa coin actually, so it didn't get up to there. So it was the 0.146899 on MEXC. Let's have a look at KuCoin. Normally KuCoin and Gate.io show it a little bit higher as all-time highs because they have less volume, so it's not as much. But what do we have here? So no, it hit up to 0.4147. Gate.io we'll see here. Thanks everyone joining in. If you could like the video, that'd be great. Just get the message out there for people. What are we looking at here? So not well, is that 15? That's nearly up to 15 cent there. But for the most part, we're not looking at 15 cent on any of these exchanges, like recorded, all-time high. So we might have to keep checking about. Move this down here. So that's what we got there. In terms of the trading, haven't hit 15 cent yet, but we'll keep an eye on MEXC right here. It has come slightly down, but there's also new news coming out, and that is obviously from Binance Futures. So they did announce this around 3 days ago. I did put a Twitter post out as well that Binance Futures will launch the USD to Kaspa perpetual contract. So they haven't actually listed it in terms of the exchanges like Spot Exchange, and there's obviously a reason for that. And the reason for that is that basically they don't have enough spot to actually allow you to trade on it. They would likely want to see how it performs on futures. They do this for a lot of the new coins, like a lot of the exchanges will do this. Bybit did it, I believe, and Gate.io did it. They released the futures for the coin before they actually released the spot trading for the coin. So Binance is doing that right now. It's probably to get an idea of how much Kaspa they'll have to buy in the future to actually pay out these perpetuals. So right now they're not holding any Kaspa coin, or you're not going to get paid out in Kaspa coin. It would be USDT. You're just betting on the fact that Kaspa coin will go up or down. So it's good news because Binance obviously has their eye on Kaspa coin. They would just probably want to see at least, well, they could actually manipulate the price of Kaspa coin through this because, you know, Binance is a big exchange, but we'll see how that works out when it does launch. I believe it's already launched as of yesterday. I just can't access it because it's in the US. So I'm in the UK and it doesn't allow futures in the UK, I don't believe. If I click on the support, it just takes me to the table, but it's going to take me off it because I'm not in, so I'm not in America, and it won't show me the actual perpetual listing. If we go here, so there's no perpetuals on in UK exchanges. So incredible run from Kaspa coin. Yeah, it has been an incredible run. Just to give you some perspective, we actually, if we go onto the YouTube channel, we can see here your channel. Let's go onto videos or lives. I believe back here, this was 2 weeks ago we streamed. Let's mute this up. and we'll see what price Kaspa coin was at. At the time, it was at 5.4 cent. So you can see we've had a massive run in the past 2 weeks. Obviously, we've been covering it on the channel, but there's also other videos on the channel. If you guys do want to check those out, please just give us the views. We've been doing really well lately, and we just hit over 3,000 subscribers. So I want to say thank you to everyone viewing the content. It's great. How long you think Binance will wait with CAS USD spot trading? CAS is inevitable, the end game. So in terms of how long Binance will actually wait, they'll probably have to look at the price. Sorry, my voice is going because I've been talking all morning to recording video. They'll probably have to look at the price of Kaspa coin, if they can get it for a lower price, if they could potentially tank it a little bit in terms of price just to get it at a lower price and then list with a bunch of Kaspa coin bought at a lower price so they accumulate a little bit of it. Then they'll probably list it as a spot trading. They just want to make money based off the fact that Kaspa coin is down. So if they bought in at 10 cent and then they start selling it spot to all these people, they'll make a profit if it goes up to 14 cent. You know, that's like basically how exchanges work on the most part. They accumulate a bunch of these coins at a lower price and then they'll sell it back to you at a higher price. But for the most part, a lot of people have got in on Kaspa coin way before that price increase happened. If you've been following the channel, if you're in the live, this was only 2 weeks ago, remember. This is, you know, at 5 cents, so you already tripled your money since making this video, or at least doubled it with investment. I had 10 million cash when I sold 5 million last year when FTX crashed. I haven't slept a wink since. Yeah, so famously, Son of a Tech also sold his Kaspa coin, which is, you know, that's his decision. And would you say it was a good decision? Probably at the time, because he was probably up, you know, a certain amount of percentage, maybe 1,000-2,000%, and it's hard to hold on to 1,000 or 2,000% without going, maybe I should sell this, you know. But luckily, we have people that did sell it at that time, and it gave us those low prices. So you did your own part by selling it at 5 million of it. And now everyone just made, like, I don't even know how much that was worth at that time. Maybe a year ago, let's see. Yeah, it was worth 0.006. So the volume was only 3.2 million, and now it's up to 137 million in volume. But it's come off a little bit, so it's decreased 26%, and that's probably why you're seeing it go down on the chart. Less trading volume there. So for the main part, bad decision, but a good decision overall if you're up a certain percentage. It is hard to hold on, and especially in this bear market, you're going to get a bit antsy with when you want to sell. But trust me, this is not the time to sell anything of your crypto assets, even though if we look on the watch list that we have here, this is proof of work coins, remember? Basically everything is up year to date. So there's only 5 ones that are performing under. Those are mainly older coins, and everything new like Kyler Coin, Octa, Nur AI, Ironfish, Chlor AI, they're all up way above, you know, the 50% range, I guess, and then higher. Ergo actually performing slightly well. Monero's up, Dogecoin's up year to date. Same with Zill, Bitcoin, and then we have our really higher coins that are up a large percentage in the last year. So Kaspa, Dynex, Lithium, Conflux, Verus, which is, I'm not really too bullish on Verus coin, Neoxa, Radiant, and then falls to Bitcoin. So if you still got 5 million Kas, you should be happy with that. Yeah, true, you should be happy with 5 million Kaspa coin. I don't know how much we actually have accumulated because there's a bunch of wallets that we have still from old mining wallets and stuff like that. I haven't actually consolidated any of them yet. I haven't had the time to do that, but for the most part, if we look on like the addresses, the range of addresses, we can see that a lot of sharks sold within the last 24 hours, 7 days and 30 days. minus 113 in the last 30 days, which means that there's a lot of people selling when they have the 1 to 10 million range because they probably have made a lot of money and they're just thinking, you should cash out now. This is kind of a life-changing amount of money to a certain extent. But then that falls into obviously these going up. So the 10 to 100K range and the 1K to 10K range is good distribution because there's more wallets coming on that have or are accumulating 1,000 Kaspa coin to 10,000 Kaspa coin. So the distribution is falling from these sharks down into all of these wallets. And then a lot of people, well, not a lot of people, but 3 people accumulating more than 10 million. So a lot of people bullish on that. And I believe that these would probably be exchanges in this range. So that's what you're dealing with at that range. Zeph, big up. Yeah, so Zephyr coin has gone up loads as well. I did make a video, well, I did make a live stream on that around, if we have a look here, I believe it was looking for, not this one, where would it have been? What do we mine? Oh, looking for new coins to spec mine. So this was 2 months ago, and the price of Zephyr was, there we go. Let's look here. Nope. It's not that. Here we go. So 2 months ago when we mentioned it, let's get rid of that. 2 months ago was last 90 days. It would have been November, October, September, around this range. So it was at $3 when we mentioned it in the live stream. So as I'm saying, I've been kind of calling these for quite a while now. I know the channel isn't as big, so not a lot of people will be seeing this, but it is knowledge that I'd like to at least educate people on. And in the video, we actually mentioned that Zephyr was one of those top coins that we would be looking to mine. I believe at the end, there's a list here that we have. So we put Ethereum at 50%, BlockX at 25%, and Zephyr at 15% in terms of spec mining, in terms of your hash rate. So at $3, it's now all the way up to $26. So I don't know how much of an increase that is. That's 26 divided by 3. That's nearly a 8.5 increase on your money if you were mining back then. Zeph will be Monero's first real competitor. Yeah, definitely. Just because of the aspect, definitely of CPU mining. If we look on hashrate NO, I think it's basically taken over the CPU charts, I believe. Yeah, so Zephyr's on there. And the thing is with Monero is that you have to set up a whole computer to mine it. And with Zephyr, you don't necessarily have to do that. Because with Monero, you have to include the RAM. The RAM speed is very important and stuff like that. So it's a whole job to set that up. But with Zephyr, it's more just about the CPU, I believe. Bro, Ironfish, go. I don't really think that Ironfish is going to take off as much as people think. I know that it has, well, it's going to move down to the GPU algorithm. But this mainly, when we're looking at this like increase here, it's probably just because Bitcoin's going up. So a lot of other assets are going up. So anything that is outperforming Bitcoin is a good play, I suppose, if we look at the year to date, because that means that it's not necessarily tracking to Bitcoin's price. It's also increasing more. Anything that is under it year to date is basically increasing in price just because Bitcoin goes up. So for Ironfish, I wouldn't really particularly say that I'd be bullish on it. If you look at the chart, a lot of people, because they did the testnet, they sold off very high. FPGAs came onto the network, made it very unprofitable to mine, and now it's slightly going back up. So we'll see what happens with the algorithm, and we'll keep an eye on Ironfish. But for the most part, I don't think that it's going to take off as much as it can or it could have with just GPU mining staying on the algorithm, or at least not. It was mainly because FPGAs came on so quickly that GPUs just got rendered out so quickly, which was annoying for GPU miners. It probably would have sustained the hash rate a little bit more if you had GPU miners as more upholding the network. Anyway, when we're looking at Kaspa coin, so nice big candle there actually. Lowest is 1.39, still a good time to buy if I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. Just set a limit order down to 13.5 cent or 13.7 and it'll probably hit down to that in the next coming hours or days, and then it will shoot back up. How high is your conviction on Kaspa? Will it be top 3? You see, the thing is, it's hard to guess that. The conviction on Kaspa coin, if I was going to say like the highest that I would see it going, would probably be number 9, Dogecoin range. Whatever Dogecoin, because in theory, a lot of these are just proof of stake coins, and Dogecoin is really the only mining coin up there apart from Bitcoin. I know Litecoin is somewhere down the list here, but Litecoin is, you know, Kaspa's already eclipsed that in terms of the technology. Same with Dogecoin, so I can see it going up to Dogecoin. There's definitely a market for that. I know that Dogecoin's price is inflated definitely just because of, you know, Elon Musk pumping it basically. But for the most part, Kaspa will probably go up to Dogecoin's range, and then you could, in theory, extrapolate it outwards. You look at market cap in the last bull run. We go at all time. So market cap at the all-time high was, let's see here, I believe it was like, so 75 billion. Personally, I think it'll be top 10 next year, top 3 of 2025. That's an interesting conclusion, but I definitely think that it's kind of around top 10 range, definitely, 100%. So 75 billion on the market cap, you would say, let's just say, what is how much supply is in Kaspa coin right now? I know that there's a better website for this, but total supply, we take this and divide by 75 billion. I'm just going to guess that that was 75, so 1, 2, 3. No, or is it 75 billion? No, that's the wrong calculation. That's million, so 750 million, 1, 2, 3, no, it'd be 2, and then you click enter, it gives you a price of $3.47. So you don't see an adoption to be the coin for electronic peer-to-peer payments. No, I definitely do, but there's still a lot of things that need to go right for Kaspa coin in terms of the updates. I know the developing team is very, very good. They definitely have a vision for it in the future that it can be an electronic peer-to-peer, and I know that a lot of coins will advertise as that, but it's the first proof of work to actually have that scale of transactions and the security on the network. Plus, the fact that it's proof of work means it's decentralized, so therefore trilemma is in theory solved, but you still need to see how the network reacts to actual real world conditions. So if it does work in real world conditions, when the Rust update comes in, then definitely top 10, top 5 is completely possible. We just need a way to not necessarily make it easier for people to pay for crypto, because if we're using it as a peer-to-peer cash system, you would need something that is as quick as a credit card in terms of you can just tap it on a machine. There would have to be no, taking pictures of a barcode or something like that, scanning a barcode, because I know it would confirm quickly, but on the other hand, people don't want to get their phone out to scan a barcode. The easiest way to pay for things is obviously with a debit or credit card, and you just tap it on a thing, and that's a transaction that you do. You know, we've already seen that before because we didn't have contactless, and then we were typing in our pins, and now we've moved over to contactless, and basically most transactions, I don't know what it's like in the US, but most transactions in the UK, I believe, are done on contactless cards. So you just tap it onto the machine. You would need Kaspa to be as good as that. People want to make the easiest, well, they want to do the easiest things, so they don't want to type in pins anymore, so that's why they brought in contactless. And you need a way to have a contactless Kaspa transaction that is confirmed by whether it be a chip or something like that that reads. That would be the best way to make it a peer-to-peer cash system. Plus, when Dagnite is implemented, the confirmation times will be instant based on the network latency. Yeah, so confirmation times definitely will be instant, but that still doesn't negate the fact that you would have to scan the barcode or scan the address and type it in manually. You need a way to not do that, and I'm sure that there's definitely a way through different providers that have set that up, but nobody has necessarily set that up for Kaspa Coin. So that needs to be set up, and it needs to have at least a global coverage of it, where you would have a machine that runs a Kaspa node mainly, or they could just have a machine that's local and everyone connects into that node. And then you'd be able to process the transaction just by tapping a card, which would have your Kaspa address wallet plus the not the seed phrase, but the password or passphrase implemented into the RFID chip or something like that, and then you just tap and it pays instantly. I do think Kaspa becomes a top 10, but I'd say it's smart to take profits if you're life-changing money range, maybe through these Tangent cold wallets or something like that. Yeah, so I've been exploring it for a while because I was writing a paper on it way back in, I can tell you now, it's probably a page on my Google Docs here somewhere. So we were going to call it Kaspa. So simply you have a wallet on Kaspa app. So this would be corresponding to like a cold wallet. The Tangent wallet actually has a physical one. Each corresponds to a QR code. Then the shop has a scanner. If you want to pay, you input the request and scan the QR code, which would allow for payment requests. And then you click confirm, and it should confirm automatically on the network. No fees apart from the transaction fees. So the abstract would create a payment system for Kaspa Coin, similar to the way Bitcoin payments can be taken, but it would have to definitely be faster. Now, we wrote this, I don't even know how long ago, but it was when Kaspa was at like 2 cents or something like that. But we never truly finished it. Maybe through these Tangent code, I've already read that, but you see the vision that I would have for that. Because you can have, like, Binance had a thing where they did allow that. They had a Binance card which would basically pay for things, but it would convert it into USD, and that's the problem. You could pay with the card, but it would convert from whatever the amount of Bitcoin you had. It would then sell it off to pay for the transaction that you're buying something with. So it's not the same thing. It's not a peer-to-peer because they basically sell off and you sell your Bitcoin. And you don't get the fair price because you have to go through the fees of that. So you can see how it's a hard thing to get around because people want to do things quickly. They don't want to type in a PIN. They just want to swipe their card or they want to tap their card. So that's the problem that you run into, is how do you set that up? And the Tangent Cold wallet definitely has the potential to do that because they already have the chip installed and that's already assigned to your wallet. There would need to be something in there that you would enable that would just say anytime you hold the chip up to an RFID that's got the same Kaspa tag or reads the Kaspa address of these addresses, then you would be able to pay. So maybe that's some implementation that's coming in, but for the most part, I don't think we're going to see that for a while. Also, if you guys do want to get a Tangent wallet, I actually have a sponsorship with Tangent wallet. So if we go on to any of my videos, Or I think it's in the description of every video, I believe, but there's a link and you can get 10% off. Just using the promo code, I don't even know what the promo code is, Spectre. So Spectre without the E at the end. So remember that. I'm not really shilling it. I just think that it's a good product, so that's why I entered into a sponsorship with them. But we use Apple Pay these days as long as the merchant has the QR code for their Kaspa wallet. Using Caspium app would work. True. It would be, but I'm trying to think. Could you onboard it onto Apple Pay? Because they don't necessarily hold the chip in the card, they just have the information of the card. And that's what they put into the payment system. Or at least that's what the reader is reading. They're reading the information off the Apple Pay or whatever the information it's giving it. So you would have that already on the Tangent wallet. The thing is, the Tangent wallet holds all different types of cryptocurrencies. So you would need a specific Kaspa card to do this, I believe, unless you enabled something on the Tangent wallet where you would say, act as just a Kaspa wallet or act as just a Bitcoin wallet. We don't really know. It's a hard thing to figure out, and it's going to take a while before that happens. But if somebody can implement it, you know, I'd been looking into implementing it way back like a year ago when we wrote that. But I never fully ran into anything that I saw that could be used as the same kind of system. Because you basically have to create an onboarding of everything. Like Kaspa, like everyone has to get the Kaspa hardware and software basically to run the nodes and stuff like that. So, you know, there's more technical things that you have to do to onboard Kaspa, and merchants will just say, normally merchants will just be like, well, why can't I just use this? I'm doing US dollar payments anyway. They won't want to switch over to Kaspa coin. So just adoption is the hardest thing to get through. Adoption plus you need a good product. So that's mainly the problems that we're going to face with Kaspa coin being a peer-to-peer cash system. And Bitcoin already faces that. Like, it's already been a problem for Bitcoin, and that's the biggest coin. The only thing that Kaspa coin does offer is the fact that it can confirm transactions basically instantly. And you get 10 confirmations within the second, so that confirms the block instantly, and you can see that you got paid instantly. So that's one of the main things that Kaspa has going for it in terms of the electronic cash system. And then the amount of transactions per second would actually allow for, you know, higher throughput on the network that we would have to see. So yeah, all good points, but we would mainly want to see that happening if it would turn into a peer-to-peer cash system. So Kaspa coin is still moving, I guess. Didn't actually get affected that much. We were live when Kaspa coin had that big downfall because Bitcoin price dropped. I can't remember when it was, but I believe it was around here somewhere. Bitcoin dropped and Kaspa coin subsequently just dumped, but then it came all the way back up. So it's actually been recovering very well since that flash kind of sale of Bitcoin, which is probably a big whale selling off or some sort of manipulation through Binance or something. I don't know. It's hard to tell. But for the most part, recovered very well in terms of that if we look on the watch list, or we could just compare it actually. You could compare it to Bitcoin. Yeah, so you can see there when Bitcoin took a turn downwards, Kaspa actually we'll go on a month chart or 7 days chart. So Bitcoin went down, and then Kaspa coin actually went down a little bit here and then recovered pretty well. And now Bitcoin's going down and Kaspa coin's going up. Notoriously, Kaspa never tracked Bitcoin until I believe this range. So you know, it's good to see that it's not tracking Bitcoin's price necessarily, which is probably the best thing to point out, that it's bullish. So when Bitcoin's up, Kaspa normally goes down. That's kind of the rule of thumb back a year ago. So Bitcoin's kind of goes down here, Kaspa goes up here, and it hasn't actually tracked it that well. So it's about to cross over, which is a good thing. And that's probably going to be one of those catalysts for Kaspa taking off. Kaspa will reach 200 billion market cap for the 2025 bull run. Is that possible? Definitely. I'm more looking at 70 billion to 80 billion in market cap, depending on how much adoption it takes. There's obviously adoption from a lot of people now. There wasn't as much back when we live streamed 2 weeks ago. I mean, people are just finding out about Kaspa coin now, and it's good to see. But if we look 2 weeks ago, we can see what the volume is, and that's going to give us a good kind of idea, I guess, of how much people are trading or using Kaspa coin, or buying it at least. But the volume is 24 million there. And we look at the volume now on Kaspa coin, and it's 137 million. So you can kind of see how much more people, or at least money, is being introduced into the Kaspa ecosystem. Could you make Zeph Pacific videos, how to mine it, thoughts on its future? Yeah, I definitely could. There's a lot of coins out there that will definitely take off in the next bull run. Zephyr has already taken off in general, so I'm probably going to be looking at mining that, or at least buying it, because it has a nice market cap and it could go up substantially in market cap from here. We're talking maybe, I don't know, 400 million, which would be a nice increase, you know, 3-4 times the profit if you bought or mined right now. Right now is probably not the best time to buy, because it's probably going to be a little retrace after Christmas. People are buying and then they want to sell off stuff because, you know, they're buying Christmas presents or they're buying certain things and the bills need to be paid. So, you know. What is consider life-changing money range? In terms of what now? In terms of how much Kaspa coin you would need for life-changing money? I don't know. Life-changing money it depends on your age range, really. I'm only in my early 20s, so anything like that can buy me a house right now is life-changing money. But like to allow me to buy a house outright is basically life-changing money. If you're into your early 30s or early 40s, you've probably accumulated enough money to get a house by now, I would assume. So anything that would pay off your mortgage is pretty much a massive weight lifted off your shoulders. You know, you don't have to stress too much about anything after the fact that you own your own house and you can live in it. You know, obviously power prices and stuff like that are going up. Cost of living is going up, but for the main part, most of all debt, or at least most of all people's wages, go on the mortgage of their house. So if you eliminate that through investing or something like that, then that is a nice little nest egg to set you up for the rest of your life. So you can then start accumulating real wealth and investing it into certainly more stable things like gold or Bitcoin, for example. How much cash do you hold right now? I can tell you in USD, we are holding around 75,000 Kaspa coin. So not loads, but not also, you know, it's a good price. If that doubles, that gives me enough to basically buy a house outright in certain areas in the UK. So I'm not going to be annoyed if I sell to get that, you know. 5 million equals 1 million house, 1 million cash, 1 million in Kaspa, 1 million on cars and other stuff, 1 million on the white stuff and women. True. But for the most part, I'm young, so I don't necessarily need to worry about bills and buying houses. I just want to be able to own my own house outright, because then that does set you up nicely for the rest of your life. Whether I do investing or whether I do YouTube and it takes off, or whether I do any sort of job, mainly you won't have to worry about the mortgage. And that's one of the main things that people do worry about. Even renting, people spend a fortune on rent these days. And if they own their own house outright, a lot of the money could be saved and could be spent on different things to, I don't know, improve their life, I guess. So it's a weird outlook to have because I'm so young with and I wouldn't say a nice amount of fortune, but a lot of people my age do not have the amount of money that I have invested. So it's kind of, I'm looking towards the future. I would like to, like, most people don't own their home until they're around 50 to 55. If you can do it under that, then I would say you're in a good place. You're above average in that sense. Yeah, but I'm still young, so the advice that I'm giving may not apply to you because you might be older than me, and you might be thinking, what does this guy know about investing? He's not gone through any kind of financial markets, but this is mainly the goal for me. You can set your own goals, I guess. But Zephyr definitely is one to look at. But the main thing is that you could just take the bet on Kaspa coin. You really could. You could just put all your investing into Kaspa coin. If you really want to, that's a safe enough bet. Or you could put it into Bitcoin. That's a safer bet. But what we're doing here is we're in this little bear market that we're having, is we're putting money into coins that are just popping up. These new coins that are popping up, we're going to put money into them. They might take a nice, 20, 30, 40% increase. Zephyr had basically a 500% increase. And then when it comes to that, you just sell it off. You sell it off and you roll it into something that's more safe. Because you've already increased your money by 5 times, you sell that off, you roll it into something safer. And then something safer being Kaspa, Bitcoin, even Ethereum if you really want to. Any of those top coins, you roll it into them. And then in the next bull run, you would probably have made more money on certain coins, but the risk is eliminated a lot. That's the thing. You want to eliminate the risk right now. So you're taking the risk in this bear market. Its prices are shooting up of basically all coins that you're betting on. If we have a look at the chart in the last 30 days, we can see a lot of these coins are up like 50, 40, 30%. You sell off now, they could go up to 50 or they could go up to 100 or 200%, but you just take your profit at whatever percentage you want and you roll it into something safer. Go all in on CAS plus 10 Bitcoin, king of all kings. My nephew is doing the exact same thing. He got me into crypto. He's only 23. We found Kaspa at 5 cents and filled out a 100k order. Exactly. So you just set yourself up, basically. You just want to set yourself up to the point where, you have enough money to be not financially free necessarily. You're still going to have to work a job, but the job is not tied to your mortgage. That's the thing. You won't worry about losing your job because you already own your house outright. And that's a kind of financial freedom that not many people get to experience. And a lot of people that are investing in Kaspa coin right now probably will get to experience if they play it right in the future. Just don't sell it. Hold on to it. Even if it dips down to 10 cents, buy more. And then in the next bull run, you'll be thanking yourself that you did buy more. That's basically all the advice I can give in terms of like investing in things. Because also the next advice is don't keep it on a centralized exchange. We already saw and learnt the lessons of FTX. Keep it on a cold wallet or a hardware wallet, whatever you want to do. And basically just, keep it from there. BlackRock Bitcoin ETF will bring 9 trillion market cap for the whole crypto space. 3 trillion market cap for Bitcoin, so 200 billion market cap for Kaspa is reasonable. Yes, definitely. Does it have... Are we actually going to see 9 trillion hit the crypto market? That's a question that a lot of people are asking. ETFs are already approved in certain countries. So US is obviously the main one, and US is the largest holder of cryptocurrency, I believe, in terms of liquidity or in terms of wealth. They have the most people holding the most amount of cryptocurrency. So that's a massive market which can open up, and obviously being the biggest market in the world, you would onboard some of that liquidity in terms of the 9 trillions coming in from BlackRock. So there's definitely some reason to, be bullish on Bitcoin coming in the next couple of years, plus the halving. BlackRock, yeah, will onboard liquidity, but the halving will really be the catalyst for producing higher price for Bitcoin. That's really my main concern, is that if BlackRock, because they can basically manipulate the price from there if they have enough money flowing in. I don't believe that they'll be buying the Bitcoin or securing it, because it would pretty much be, they could have an overinflated market if they, let's say, Bitcoin's market cap's at 2 trillion, but BlackRock hold 2 trillion in Bitcoin ETF. I haven't researched much into it, so I don't know if they're going to be holding the Bitcoin, but if they have it like paper Bitcoin, then in theory, they could have the manipulation over the market because they own 2 trillion in Bitcoin. If they wanted to just decrease the price, they could, and it would affect the actual price of Bitcoin. But the reason that I haven't at least researched into how they're going to do that is because it doesn't necessarily affect me in terms of, I'm not going to be able to buy the ETF, so it doesn't really matter, but it will affect the crypto market. But Bitcoin is still going to go up, no matter, what happens with BlackRock. The halving is the main thing, because either you decrease the hash rate, which means that you're using less power, or you double it, and people want to mine more, so they'll double the hash rate, which means they need to buy more miners and pay more electricity to produce the Bitcoin, which in theory means that the miners will have to sell off for higher to actually gain a profit back from mining the Bitcoin. That is what the simple deflationary cycle works like in terms of Bitcoin. So it's a lot of me talking about a lot of stuff that a lot of people are very naive on, but they just can't see the bigger picture in terms of where the market's going. And as I said, let's learn from FTX. Let's keep our Kaspa coin off exchanges. Unless you're planning to sell, then keep it on an exchange. So keeping it off the exchange actually increases the price of Kaspa coin. This is why people say to hold your coins on a hardware wallet, is because there's less supply of the Kaspa coin being out there, which means the price is going to go up because they need to sell more at a higher price. There's less supply of it, more demand. That's simple economics that we're seeing with Bitcoin and what we're seeing with Kaspa coin right now because of the emission schedule that's going on for Kaspa coin. So it's interesting to look at, interesting to see what's going on with Kaspa coin, and definitely needs some more, adoption, and needs some more creative minds who can produce things for Kaspa coin in terms of, payment processing systems and software that makes it easy for people to pay with Kaspa coin. Easy as a credit card. Okay, so manipulate Kaspa coin. What do you mean in terms of manipulate Kaspa coin? Sorry, I didn't really understand that, but for the most part, that is what we're going to see. Binance is probably going to manipulate Kaspa coin through the perpetuals because they want it at a lower price. Mainly, I would say that is definitely a thing that they would be looking into. Is it ethical? Definitely not, but every other exchange has definitely done it that has perpetuals. So MEXC, I don't want to accuse them, but it would make them a lot of profit if they could do that. And I know that they were definitely doing it for a while at the 5 cent range. And then they probably saw more volume and they couldn't hold on to those or they couldn't hold on to the amount of Kaspa coin that they were basically manipulating in USDT. There was more volume, so they can't exactly liquidate the long positions without, obviously the price going down. MEXC, get your coins off MEXC. Right, yeah, true. So MEXC, basically every exchange, get your coins off them. Notoriously, MEXC has been the largest volume for Kaspa coin. And, in theory, if you have the largest volume, you can manipulate the price more. So KuCoin and Gate.io are actually catching up a lot. If we look in our video, Kaspa coin, what is this? If we go, okay, so here, KuCoin and Gate.io 2 weeks ago have 4 million and 2.9 million, and MEXC has around 7.6 million. Now you can see on today's, if we're looking at volume, MEXC is falling behind, so they can't manipulate as much because they don't have as much volume. KuCoin and Gate.io are catching up. They have nearly the same amount of volume, so you can see how it gets harder to manipulate the price as more volume comes onto the Kaspa coin trading network, I guess. MEXC withdrawal fee is very high. Yes, so with all these exchanges, the withdrawal fee is very high. So they're probably making a killing from withdrawal fees as well. If you have it at 20 Kaspa coin, let's say, times 20, you have a $2.88 fee. Now the fee on the Kaspa coin network is, I don't even think it's 1 cent. It's probably 100,000th of 1 cent. So I believe the fee is like, it'd probably be that much in terms of the USD. It'd be that much in USD to actually send outwards transactions. So they're making, I don't know, a million X increase on the trading fees. They don't have to process it at that fee, because they can process it and still, you could in theory triple that and still make a double profit off it for trading fees. But 20 is an extortionate amount to trade Kaspa coin. KuCoin is 30 plus deposit confirmation is 1,000. Wow. Exchanges need to drop the fees and confirmations. Yes, so they definitely do. The fees are way too high because they're making an extortionate amount off the fees, way more than they would on Bitcoin transactions, because Bitcoin notoriously has higher fees to transact. I believe, who was it? It was DJ Mines. He had this tweet that blew up, I believe. If we go down here, was it? Yeah, tried to send $9 in Bitcoin, guessed the fee, $8.30. So the fee on the network is very high for Bitcoin, but that kind of like, if exchanges are moving that around, it's an understandable fee that they can get people to pay, which is normally around $10 or something like that. Notoriously it was lower, but it's going up because there's more volume. However, with Kaspa coin, they're making an extreme amount of profitability from the fees, because if it takes that much to send it or that much to onboard it, think about how much 20 to 30 is of that. So we could just actually do a simple calculation. So it's what, 220 million X on the fee, basically, which is basically an insane amount of money going into MEXC, or going to MEXC. Advice for off-ramps for USD, USDC, and back into UK banks have concerns about banks freezing accounts. Could you share some thoughts on the competition for Kaspa, weakness, and what could happen to maintain the network after all the coins are mined in 2036? So obviously the vision is that in 2036, I will get onto the UK banks in a minute. The vision for 2036 is that all the fees from the network will allow miners to stay profitable on the network, which means that you have to grow a coin to a certain market cap and the fees have to be a certain price. So if the fee is 0.00001 Kaspa coin and you pay the miners that, then the Kaspa coin basically has to be at, $100 a coin for it to be profitable, let's just say. So that's where that comes in. In terms of the emission schedule, it's very quick, and that's probably why we're seeing a price rise, because it's always halving, and it's halving very quickly. It halves every year on average. I know that there's monthly decreases, and that's probably why we're seeing more price increases, is because it decreases monthly by around 0.06%. Advice for off-ramps for USDT. So off-ramping in the UK is very hard. They already have set in motion laws to actually monitor accounts. So there's not many options for you. If any exchange wants to operate in the UK, they have to monitor accounts and they have to do KYC. I'm sure it's the same in the US. So the only way that you are going to be able to evade that is if you go to some sketchy exchange that doesn't ask for KYC or anything, that is just going to give you, pounds or whatever. And that's a very sketchy thing to do. You can trade it on a decentralized exchange, not for Kaspa coin necessarily, but things with smart contracts. There are certain over-the-counter places where you can buy and sell cryptocurrencies, but they're not as, verifiable as a Binance or anything like that. So it is very hard, and obviously they make it hard for a reason, is because they want to know how much people are buying and selling cryptocurrency, because at the end of the day, they just want to be able to tax it. So they get a slice of your profits. That's, at the end of the day, that's what they want to do. There are ways to evade it. Obviously, if you're doing large transactions on Binance, they'll probably be monitoring your account already. You're allowed up to 12,500 tax-free. Past that, basically, you're going to get taxed on the capital gains of it. Kaspa is much better than Bitcoin. Yeah, so if Kaspa coin came out the same time as Bitcoin, you would probably see Kaspa coin at the top of the charts. It'd probably hold the most market cap. Obviously, the vision is set in motion by Satoshi, so the vision for it is the same, but if Kaspa coin came out the same time as Bitcoin, it would blow it out of the water. However, it has come out now, so we're going to have to see if it's better than Bitcoin. Because Bitcoin's the first, the adoption for it, I don't think it could ever be taken over. That's the thing. Just because it's so big in the space. Everyone, if you say crypto to some random person on the street, they think Bitcoin. Or they'll think Ethereum. It's going to take a while, if it even happens, for Kaspa to take over Bitcoin or be considered better than Bitcoin. I know basically everything is better than Bitcoin right now because Bitcoin's so slow, doesn't have enough throughput on the network. But as a store of wealth, yes, definitely. Bitcoin is the gold, if you think about it in that way. Kaspa is not the silver, it's the cash. So you have Bitcoin as the gold, and Kaspa is the actual cash that you use. So when they say that, in the US, the dollar used to be backed by the gold standard. You could have Kaspa, which is backed by a Bitcoin standard, to a certain amount of Bitcoin, and then your Kaspa is worth however much it is in terms of Bitcoin, and you just use that as the payment system, but it's all backed by a certain amount of Bitcoin. That could, in theory, happen, but it's probably not going to happen in my lifetime. Very expensive taxes. Yeah. So the problem that we run into mainly as miners is it's very hard to actually track the fact of how much you're actually being able to be taxed. That's the thing, is because you're mining a coin, you never truly pay for the coin with a certain dollar amount or a certain pound amount, which means that the capital gains tax on it doesn't necessarily apply because you got it for free in the tax terms. So there's a gray area around mining coins. You would probably be taxed on the price that it was mined at. However, if you're getting regular payments every day from your GPU, there's definitely no way on earth that you're gonna get an accountant to actually track that, and there's no way on earth that some normal person is going to be able to tell you the exact price that they mined at every single day and then tax appropriately on top of it, which is very hard to do. Only reason Bitcoin is better because it's more popular until now. Yes, that's the main reason that it's better. It's because it's more popular. But you also need to think about it in terms of that's the reason. Like Samsung might produce a better phone than Apple, but Apple's the most popular. You know, that's like simple kind of mass economics or macro economics, is that something is not necessarily better, but it's more popular. And it would take a while before something, out competes Apple. There probably will be in the future. We're not gonna see much as technological advancements because Samsung already outperform Apple in terms of most things. And then Apple just steals it and puts it into a nice looking phone. I mean, I have an iPhone, so like it's not like, not like I'm against Apple or anything, but that makes sense. It's Bitcoin's the most popular, but there will be competition, and because it's the most popular, does that mean that it's better? No, definitely not. So there's a lot of arguments to be had in that. But there's a lot of coins out there that are way better than Bitcoin right now. Like even Dogecoin. Dogecoin can do more transactions, per second. So it's in theory better. But does it hold the amount of wealth? No. But it is a better fundamentally coin. But Kaspa coin's fundamentally way better than Bitcoin. But yeah, that's the problem that we're facing basically with a lot of cryptocurrency and a lot of things going on in the market is that people just, a lot of you watching this live stream obviously are in crypto and you know a lot about cryptocurrency, but we're kind of all in this bubble, and it's slightly a bubble that we just believe everyone should know about, if that makes sense, and it's a good thing for the most part. But normal people on the street, if you go, oh, what is the best cryptocurrency to buy? They'll probably say Bitcoin, yeah? And that's just because they know it. However, if we're talking in terms of educating people, is probably the most important thing in cryptocurrency. If you educate people on these things and you make it more educationally available, like through YouTube and stuff like that, obviously the people in the live chat, they know a certain amount, I believe. You guys know a certain amount about cryptocurrency, but normal people just walking by on the street won't necessarily know. So it's mostly about education, and we see a massive example of that in FTX, when we saw basically people lose a lot of money because they weren't educated on how it works. In theory, I believe it's kind of on the people as well, because you can't be that, I don't know, not stupid, but for the most part, you want to be talking about the fact that people didn't know the difference between decentralized and centralized. They don't know it because they never were educated on it. What do you think it would take for Kaspa to overtake Bitcoin? Definitely a payment system. Any kind of people out there that are really technologically educated, I would be looking into setting up a payment system that's as seamless as a credit card for Kaspa coin. That is what you want to do. It's probably $1 million idea, so in the future, if Kaspa coin gets to that point, then you're probably going to be the first one to ever, make that. But going back to the education thing, people were stupid enough to leave their decentralized currency in a centralized location. And that comes with education of how it works. So that's why we need to educate people on this, and then it'll grow it further. And the whole point of the channel is to educate people on why this happens. So you can see why it's annoying to see these people lose their money, but it's also a good lesson for the rest of, time to say, look, decentralized and centralized are different things. If you put it onto an exchange, it's not your money anymore. The only time I put things on exchanges is if I'm going to sell it or buy it. And then you offboard it onto a cold wallet. That's it. Sorry to get so, not necessarily emotional, but annoyed, is because there's less education. People need to be educated about these things. Da Vinci and Crypto are buying Kaspa coin. I don't know who those are. I don't keep up with any crypto influencers necessarily. I just kind of make my own content. So sorry if I don't know who those are. Bitcoin is Gen 1, Ethereum is Gen 2 because of smart contracts, Kaspa is Gen 3 because of block DAG, and it solves the trilemma. Many I know changed their own Bitcoin in Kaspa coin. There's definitely a lot more profits to be had in Kaspa coin over Bitcoin, but Bitcoin's a steady, not necessarily steady, but it's a steadier price increase, and you can kind of project that it's going to go to there. You don't know the future of Kaspa coin, you definitely know the future of Bitcoin. You can predict that it's definitely going to go up, both of them, but with Kaspa coin, you don't know if it's going to go to top, 5 or top 3. It could go to top 10, and that would still be a good increase. But Bitcoin will always be number one for a long, long time. Just keep that in mind. And it will always have a price increase over average. It may not be as much as Kaspa coin, but on average, it will be the steadiest asset to roll profits into. And Kaspa coin is Gen 3 because it's block DAG and it solves the trilemma. So yes, block DAG has been block DAG has been known for a while, if you didn't know. Block DAG has been known since around 2011. It's basically what happens when you let a network go outwards, and that would be a fork. But for block DAG, they just let it propagate to a certain amount. And then they will say, look, we're going to include invalid blocks just to keep data on the network. So block DAGs have been a known thing for a while, just nobody really know how to implement it into a cryptocurrency, or at least keep it under control, which is an interesting concept which we're seeing now. I know that there's another coin out there that we've been looking at on the channel, and that is Lithium, which also uses block DAG and came out way before, Kaspa coin. But it just hasn't had the amount of support that Kaspa coin has because they were doing smart contracts on the network and they were kind of developing it a lot. But for the most part, Kaspa coin has stayed true, and they haven't released those smart contracts yet because they're already building a massive community here, 3 billion in market cap, as you can see. And the smart contracts will be like the cherry on top after the Rust rewrite and the DAG-Knight protocol. I did not agree with you. Soon we will see how Bitcoin died. Kaspa will be the winner. I mean, yeah, you can. Could you point to your videos for setting up miners, including electrical fire safety VPN? I mean, I could, but they're not. They're very outdated videos, and I don't think they apply too much to today. So I would want to give you an education more on what we're looking at today. In terms of safety, as long as you keep GPUs under around 75 to 80 degrees, you'll be fine. Electrical fires happen when you have too much power draw, or not enough power draw necessarily, through the pins or through the risers of your GPU. Always power a riser with a 6-pin GPU power connector. If we look here, this is the best advice if you're GPU mining. GPU riser. Okay, so here's one, yeah. This is if we just click on it, actually, no, let's, okay. So this is where you put your GPU. This is the 6-pin here. This is the connector into the PCIe. So this is to go into this is the little blue thing that you're seeing here. That goes into your PCIe slot on the motherboard. This is the GPU. This is where the GPU will sit. You have a 6-pin here. You have a 6-pin by here. Now these are newer, these are slightly newer risers, but on old risers, They used to have these SATA plugins. If we can look for one, I can't find one with the SATA plugins. Maybe they've rendered those outwards. Yeah, I can't actually. Maybe they have updated them since I've bought risers, but they normally would have a SATA plugin and they'd have a Molex plugin. So if you have a riser, sorry, the first one did actually have it. So there's that white thing there. That's a Molex and this is a SATA. And these are ways to power a GPU riser. I would recommend against powering a GPU riser with any of these because it can cause electrical fires. Only power with the 6-pin plugin. That's my BTC and Kaspa will serve different purposes. BTC will be store of value. Kaspa will be cash. Exactly. So that's definitely a use purpose in the future. That is the main goal. Is that Bitcoin is the store and Kaspa is the cash. And it definitely has the right ingredients for that accumulation or that combination to happen. I have biggest mining center in my city and I turn all Bitcoin mined into Kaspa coin. I mean, that's a fairly good idea as well. You can use programs like, well, a lot of pools will actually allow you to mine Bitcoin and send out in different coins. So you can have unminable, which allows you, or nice hash even, that allows you to mine the most profitable coin and then switch it into a coin that you want to accumulate. And it does that automatically. So there are programs out there where you can, you know, allow for that to happen. I started mining Kaspa right after the Ethereum merge until mining difficulty became high, bagged a nice 100k. Only thing I regret is not mining Kaspa earlier. Yeah, so there is a video on my channel of us mining Kaspa coin and you guys are probably going to be, I don't know, not blown away necessarily, but I think it was a profitability video. But if we look on, it's going to take me a while to find, but it does give you a good perspective of what mining was like back then. A bunch of videos on Kaspa coin on the channel. So was it here? Yeah, okay, mining Kaspa for 24 hours. So look at the profitability, or look how much we're making. Okay, so mega hash, for example. So we've got 69 mined every day. Yeah, which is not a lot with 3 3060 Ti's, but it's still a decent amount. It's 400 mega hash to how much watts are we looking at? 58 watts. If we take that over to hash rate NO and we type that in, you're going to see how much that would actually get us today. Calculator and Kaspa coin, where is it? Kaspa coin mega hash was 400 and the watts was 58. And that gets us 0.083 Kaspa coin. So we take this figure and we type in, let's just go for 70, divided by this figure. This will give us how much Kaspa coin we have basically increased on since the mining of it. So it's a 837 increase every day. So for every 69 Kaspa coin that we mined every day, or 70, we've now had an 837 increase to today's price, basically. So you can see how easy it was back then if you had the right mindset in terms of mining, spec mining, Kaspa coin, all these other coins, even Radiant, Nexa, Alephium, Dynex, all these coins that popped up after the Ethereum merge, those were the ones to mine, and they've had great increases in terms of spec mining. Kaspa coin obviously being the biggest one, but Dynex slightly around the same range as well. But for the most part, we've seen a pretty good increase in terms of what we are mining per day. And that's what the increase would look like on the price, because it's obviously linked to the, it would be linked over to how much mega hash we would be hashing at. So the price of Kaspa coin at that time was 0.08411. So I wasn't necessarily early, but I wasn't necessarily late, if that makes sense. Which is always a good thing, to be slightly early. And even if you feel like you've missed the boat on mining, in this bear market, you haven't missed the boat on mining. As long as it's still GPU mineable, if it goes over to ASICs, then yes, you have missed the boat. But if it's still GPU mineable, I would recommend mining basically any of these coins on the watch list. I'll give you a quick little preview. Basically anything from, I wouldn't say Flux, but anything downwards here. You know, these are all good coins to mine, and they'll produce profits probably in the future. So if you're talking about mining, then there's profits to be had. But if we're, sorry, I just dropped my phone. Talking about Kaspa coin, there's still profits to be had in ASIC mining. And the last thing that I'll show you is the ROI for Kaspa ASIC miners. So there's this sheet that I made. Here it is. And we need to update this. So the price of Kaspa coin is 14, return per mega hash. Let's have a look here. We can get this from hashrate NO is 0.0209. And there we go. That will give you the ROI times for all of these, and the power cost is at 15 cents. So not at 10 cents, but we could up it to, let's say, 20 cents to capture a lot of people in Europe or higher. So the ROI on basically all of these miners is basically 2 to 3 months, depending on price and on power cost. The KS0 Pro, those have just come out. And this figure at the end is how much you'd have within a year's time. So if you bought the Windminer K9, you'd ROI in December. I know these are not for November right now, but you'd ROI in December. And then, you'd ROI in January. And you'd, at the end of the year, have $57,000 worth of Kaspa coin if Kaspa coin stayed at the same price. How much are you profiting now at the moment? I'm not profiting any, I'm not mining anything at the moment, just because we really haven't had the electricity power to mine things. We've already spec mined a bunch of the coins that we wanted to back in 2022. We accumulated a bunch of them, and now we're just sitting on them. That's all you have to do is look for opportunity, speculation, mine, and sit on these coins. That's all you have to do. If a new coin pops up, for example, Zephyr, we just look on, normally it'll be on mining pool stats, but there are coins that do pop up that are not on mining pool stats, and you have to look around for those. So Zephyr, I believe, did pop up on mining pool stats, and we mined it. It was probably around 4 months ago. I don't know how long ago. No, sorry, it would be two months ago. And it was on there, and we just thought, okay, we'll have a look into this. It looked good. The white paper looked good. It looked like a good coin to be mining. There could be some adoption, and we spec mine that. And then you just wait. Time is the most important factor within any sort of investing ever. As long as you have time, you'll be able to make a profit on most things. So that's for all you people out there that are talking about mining. Oh, so here's the transaction fee for Kaspa coin. Sorry. Is 0.001 Kaspa coin, right? And MEXC has a withdrawal fee of 20 Kaspa coin. So they're making, for example, it'd be 20 divided by 0.00. Is it 3 zeros? Let's have a look. Yep. So they're making a 200,000% increase on the fee. Now, I do believe KuCoin is 30, so they're making a 300,000% increase on their fee. They're basically robbing you blind in terms of how much they're taking from you. So you've got to be careful. I know you have to buy Kaspa coin from these places. There are better exchanges out there. I believe that the fee for ZegX is slightly lower for Kaspa coin, but ZegX is not as much trading volume and stuff like that. People might not have access to a lot of these things. It's annoying that they don't list the fee there. CoinMarketCap should do an update for fees of the withdrawal fee on coins. So yeah, I don't even think ZX is even on here anymore, but I know that you can buy it on ZX, and that's one of those KYCs that, sorry, it's one of those exchanges that doesn't require KYC, and you can onboard crypto from there. I don't think you can offboard it from there though. But ZX has always been good. It's always listed small coins. That's where I go to buy small coins if I'm not mining them. Factorn has been one of those good ones that we started buying. We bought it at $5 because we couldn't mine it necessarily, and it's gone up to $25 in the past month. So that's a 5x increase on whatever we mined or bought. KuCoin is 10, Kaspa Coin and Bybit is 1. So Bybit is a good one. I mean, it's still extortionate, but still. When do you expect Kaspa to pass 20 cent and Kaspa price prediction by Bitcoin halving? Kaspa price prediction by Bitcoin halving, depending on Binance, probably gonna be around 25 cent. Well, actually, no, probably not. Bitcoin tends to take a little dip off when the halving comes around. It takes a dip off and then it starts to rise. So probably a little dip off for Kaspa Coin, depending on what price it's at, and then it will start to rise. Not necessarily with Bitcoin, but I think Kaspa is getting to a point where it is definitely decoupling from Bitcoin. It's staying in its own lane, and because of the emission schedule of Kaspa Coin, it might not actually track necessarily to the whole market, and that would be a good thing. That would mean that it was standing on its own. Even Ethereum tracks Bitcoin pretty much to this same extent. So there's a lot of problems with cryptocurrency. There's a lot of manipulation, and we even saw it with FTX, and they even said it in the court filings or whatever. They said that they conspired to keep it under 20,000. So you can kind of see that there is definitely manipulation going on with all these markets, with all these centralized exchanges, and that's why you want to get them off these exchanges. You want to keep your coins to yourself so they can't be able to manipulate the price as much because they don't have as much coins on there. But then that comes down to the education of people in cryptocurrency, and that's the whole point of this YouTube channel, is to educate people on those things. So it's very good to talk about these things and very good to tell people what to do with their cryptocurrency. So if you haven't, please take it off an exchange or a centralized exchange at least, and put it into a cold storage wallet, because in turn that will increase the demand by decreasing the supply of the coin out there. Ethereum is totally centralized, yeah, 100%. With the nodes, you need 32 Ethereum to start a node, which is an extraordinary amount right now. Only the people that have a lot of money or they got in early will be able to achieve that or buy it. So that's why it's centralized, because people that run the nodes have an extreme amount of Ethereum to run these nodes. You can kind of see why that leads to centralization. Sorry. So yeah, and a lot of people need to be educated on the fact that staking is a heavily centralized way of running a blockchain, especially when you get up into the bigger coins, because right now staking, if you're on a small coin, you have the opportunity to buy in, but if that coin takes off, you need more money to buy in. So yeah, so very easy to beat Ethereum, definitely very easy to beat Ethereum. But as I said, it's about adoption. Ethereum is not better than Kaspa Coin, but it has more adoption. Bitcoin's not better than Kaspa Coin, but it has more adoption. Same thing, as I said, with the phone analogy. Samsung actually make a better phone than iPhone or than Apple, but people still buy Apple every year. They'll probably still buy Samsung every year, but there's not an overtaking of Samsung phones compared to Apple in terms of like revenue or market cap of the stock. So that's the thing. It's hard. I read a book once that said that the product needs to be 10 times better than the existing product for it to be overtaken. Which is, I don't know how true that is, but if a product is 10 times better, then it will overtake the existing product. And that means Kaspa is 10 times better because it's 10 times quicker, it's 10 times more confirmations, it's 10 times the throughput. It's way above that, but it's a superior product. So you can say then that it is has the potential to overtake it. Now, Samsung isn't 10 times better than an iPhone. How do you make an iPhone 10 times better? You know, that's the question. So you can see in the crypto space, it's easier to overtake that competition, and Bitcoin definitely, if Kaspa Coin takes off and has that adoption and has all the updates promised, then it could overtake Bitcoin. But Bitcoin's still going to be there for quite a while before that happens, if it ever happens. So why can't Bitcoin just implement all the stuff Kaspa is doing to stay on top forever? Because they can't, because they already have a blockchain. That's the thing. You can't alter it to do a block DAG, because you'd have to alter the whole system, which is very hard to even. You wouldn't. There would be, you know, I don't even think it would be able to be implemented into that. There would just be no way to do that, because you'd be producing blocks at a rate that couldn't be confirmed, and you can't necessarily change the code to allow that anymore. Yeah, there's just no really way to Bitcoin to emulate that. There are other coins out there that can definitely switch over to block DAG if they really wanted to, or they could at least create a chain of block DAG that would run quicker. One of the good things for Kaspa Coin is that if you were to create a private network within a currency, so say you got, I don't know, US dollar, yeah? But the US runs a private Kaspa block DAG, and then they can actually confirm transactions around the whole country, you know, if they run nodes at certain places through payment processing. And the fees would be only on their private network. Now, how hard is that to implement? Very hard. With larger countries, but with smaller countries, definitely easier to implement. So there are definitely ways that you could implement Kaspa Coin, and that could be the trial run of Kaspa Coin would be in a country where they would accept it as a currency and set up the infrastructure. Now, they would definitely want it to be a public blockchain, but it could be private within the country. So everyone can verify everyone else's transactions and see what everyone else is basically buying or selling in terms of the Kaspa amount. It's very hard to get that type of adoption though. So anyway, I don't think Kaspa Coin is going to hit 15 cent for the next 12 hours, but we'll see. I'll eat my words if it does, and it doesn't really matter either way, because, you know, now is still a good time to buy. Any price right now is a good time to buy before the halving of Bitcoin, and then I'd say after that, that's when the price increase is going to start happening. So look out for that. And it's been a great live stream. Thank you for everyone joining. Please just like the live stream so it can share out after the fact. And yeah, I hope you gained some knowledge and learned a lot in this live stream. Thanks everyone for coming in. And I'll see you guys in the next video or live stream. Thanks for being